Welcome to episode 257 of the Shared Security Show. And joining me this week are the podcast co-hosts of the year.
Of the year, of course.
Scott Wright and Kevin Johnson.
Yes. And the supreme, all-knowing podcast host, Tom.
I'm glad you didn't say supreme leader or something, but...
We're the podcast hosts of this year. Not as in like we won an award. Just we've been podcast hosts.
And we expire in a week.
Yeah, I have no awards for you guys, but my thanks. So, yeah.
That's all we need is your thanks.
Actually, that's not true. I have sent you guys swag in the past. You got stickers and you got a t-shirt. Yes. So I have sent you something.
We've never sent you anything.
That's true. I will have to
horrible people.
Well, maybe one day. That's not true. Kevin, you've sent me stuff. I got a challenge coin from you.
So Scott is the only horrible person here.
What size shirts do you guys take?
Large.
I'm a fat guy. I do a 2X.
2XL? All right.
I'm working on it.
That's right. New Year's resolution, right, Kevin?
No, it's not a New Year's resolution. I've been doing it for a few months now. I'm doing it's an exercise thing on my VR headset because, of course, it's got to be a nerd thing.
It is a nerd thing.
It's called Supernatural.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And I love it. What I love about it is they added boxing recently.
Oh, yes.
And I never realized I would enjoy boxing, but I do.
Well, very cool. So let's jump into the last episode of the year. And in tradition, as we always do on this podcast, the last episode of the year is dedicated to the year in review and our 2023 predictions.
And our 2021 predictions for 2022.
That's right. So we will recap what we talked about on the last episode of last year. What were our predictions?
And how badly did we fail at them?
Exactly. So I want to start with some things that Kevin said. Of course I do.
Cool.
Right?
That's cool.
Because that's what we want to hear. And one of the first things Kevin said was that there would be more political discussions on this podcast.
And I was obviously wrong because we did absolutely zero political discussion.
That's a lie.
All year. None whatsoever.
Zero. Yes.
I feel like that wasn't a prediction. It was more of a promise. I feel like
yes.
I am at fault for many of the political discussions.
That's true. But one thing that you did say, Kevin, you said that the pandemic will continue, but COVID will be treated just like the flu, and we will learn to live with it.
And I believe I also said that I wasn't comparing COVID and the flu like many of the nut jobs on social media, just to be clear.
True.
And I don't know that came true, except I feel like it did. Right? Like I feel like many of us still treat it as like just okay, it's going to exist forever and we deal with it. But maybe I'm just trying to make my prediction right.
Yeah. I mean, the government declared that the pandemic's over, but it's definitely not over. It's just I think we've had to live with it. Right.
I feel like the government declaring the pandemic as over is as effective as George Bush standing on an aircraft carrier with "We won" on a banner behind him.
Yeah. Yes. The war is over.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Yes. But kind of on that same point with the pandemic and remote work, you had said that more people are going to be working remote and it's going to be challenging addressing the security of home remote workers, right? And the work-life balance and all of those things. So I think that came true. We see a lot in that space.
I feel bad because I want to point out that I don't believe any of my predictions were genius.
Well, no one's questioning that.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure. I feel like these predictions are obvious. It's kind of like, if you put chocolate in front of me, I'm going to eat it. Is my prediction for the new year.
That's a good prediction. So I like that one.
Yeah, I think we've seen where remote work has absolutely taken off. Matter of fact, we're seeing tons of people who are quitting jobs because their job is trying to make them go back into an office, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's kind of a different challenge now. People kind of like working from home and for various reasons.
It says me, the guy sitting in his office, in an office building, not really an office, but a building that is our office. And, I think remote work we've proven it works, no pun intended. I think that as people, I think over this last year, we've absolutely seen, and we will continue to see, that security is more complex because of the variety of places people are. We used to always, the marketing thing was, oh God, I just blanked on it. Like, I can't think of the word. Zero trust.
Yes.
Right? We have zero trust. Everybody has and it's like, yeah, but you're all in a building. And we've definitely moved where people have to take into account that people will work from anywhere, right?
Yep. Yeah. And things like secure service edge and all those things, right, that have, cloud security has become more important because of, people aren't in buildings anymore. So the model has kind of shifted, and I think it'll continue to go that direction as well. So Scott, you had said there would be more personal risk assessments. And
did I say that?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Okay.
And cyber insurance would have a crisis this year.
Right.
So what do you think of that?
I don't know that we haven't really had a crisis, but I think that cyber insurance is still very expensive for the average company in terms of what gets covered. And it's not really driven by managing risks of the covered entities. It's driven by managing risks of the insurance companies. So, I've heard that insurance premiums will be the biggest part of budgets for, insurance versus property or CGL. And that may be coming, but I think they need to get better at aligning those premiums with the costs and value they're providing.
Yeah, I agree. You also mentioned something about more vehicles would get hacked this year, including Kevin's car.
Did that happen? I don't think
know.
so.
Kevin, did your car get hacked?
I can't say my car hasn't been hacked. I can say that I'm not aware of my car being hacked, which doesn't prove it wasn't. It just proves that maybe I'm not monitoring well enough.
There's three kinds of people in the world, apparently. The people with self-driving cars that have been hacked, the people with self-driving cars that don't know they've been hacked, and the people without self-driving cars.
I like that.
I'm good with that. with that.
So I had said that we would see more red team type of engagements this year. So more testing focused on the end user. And I think from my experience of where I work, red teaming has been the fastest growing offering that we have had, at least Bishop Fox, and I would assume that's across the industry. More assessments targeting the end user, laptops, and I think the whole work from home environment, right? So there's been a lot more social engineering going on in our engagements, and
see, it's funny that we haven't seen the same increase. As a matter of fact, we've seen where we do, it is more user focused, but it's more assumed compromise rather than social engineering.
Yeah.
And I think I know the reason for it on our end is because we actively tell our customers that the social engineering testing, if what they're trying to see is what would it look like if somebody got compromised, the social engineering aspect is money they could spend. And I feel like I'm bashing Bishop Fox, and I'm not. It depends on what you're trying to look at. Are you
it depends on the context.
Get compromised, or are you looking to see what could a compromised person get to? And for us, we've sold more of the second one.
Yeah. Two things that we've been for social engineering. It's been using social engineering techniques in targeted phishing emails.
Yes.
Right. Very targeted. You're trying to get an implant to launch, that kind of thing. And also vishing has been something that we have seen an increase with.
And I hate doing vishing.
Well, it depends who's doing it, but
I'm literally saying I hate to do it. That's a Kevin doesn't like.
Kevin does like doing it. Okay, got it.
Yeah. I've tried it too. I'm not crazy about doing it, so it's.
I'm good at it. That's the problem.
Yes.
I will tell you though that we've got a guy, Corey. He hates doing it, but he's the best person
he's probably good
I've
at
ever
it.
seen do it.
Yeah.
Like, he is amazing at getting people to give him stuff.
Interesting.
So
the last thing that we all said was that there would be no federal privacy law in the US. So I think we also predicted that the year before as well.
Yeah.
So that has not changed.
I'm going to say now, I predict it'll continue that way for another year.
I'm going to say that as well. That's right.
Yeah.
So what are some things that we did not predict that were big events this year? Obviously, at the beginning of the year, the war in Ukraine started. I believe that was in February. So no one predicted that happening. We also didn't predict Elon buying Twitter and the whole Twitter drama and craziness that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And we also didn't predict ChatGPT and some of the AI things.
For sure, yeah.
I'm actually embarrassed by not predicting, and I wouldn't say that I would have predicted ChatGPT. What I am embarrassed I didn't. Well, embarrassed is probably the wrong word. That AI and machine learning would become so user friendly.
Yeah.
In 2022, right? Yep. Like, not ChatGPT specifically, but I think the overarching idea that the accessibility of AI would grow as fascinatingly fast as it did.
Yeah. Something I thought we didn't predict, but probably could have if we were asked to, specifically. And that is, what we saw with the Uber hack and multi-factor authentication fatigue, like the people getting overwhelmed by the push notifications that say, approve this, approve this, approve this. And it then evolved into, well, you got to do more than just approve it. And that's just a cat and mouse game, right? MFA is going to get more complex.
Employee awareness of cybersecurity threats is critical to your organization, but most employees are bored by traditional security awareness training. The vast majority of employees are much more engaged when training is gamified. ClickArmor is the first fully gamified security awareness platform that reduces employee vulnerability by 60%. These days, we can't avoid cyber threats. They're everywhere, and everyone is a target. Employees really need to get better at avoiding cyber threats like phishing and social engineering. Most security awareness training solutions aren't effective enough to really change behavior. ClickArmor uses a very different approach that employees love. We use proven gamification techniques with psychological drivers that keep employees motivated to learn and improve their skills. Rather than using controversial live phishing tests that anger many employees and provide unreliable metrics, ClickArmor's unique learning challenges help employees learn about cybersecurity in a fun, stress-free way that builds up their confidence. And our engaging simulated threat scenarios motivate employees to improve their skills in a safe and fun environment. Gamified simulators can also extend far beyond phishing scenarios to practice facing dangerous social engineering scams. Our weekly 3-minute challenges provide continuous reinforcement for employees. Motivating employees to participate willingly means higher assurance reporting for compliance and risk management. Simple integration with your employee directory means that deployment of ClickArmor is a snap, and single sign-on makes usage and ongoing management of ClickArmor easy. ClickArmor has been proven to provide better employee engagement, making IT managers' lives easier. If you're tired of ineffective awareness training that hurts your corporate culture, find out how to gamify your security awareness training experience to improve employee resilience with ClickArmor.
So let's jump into our predictions for 2023. And so I will start. So I think that Mastodon usage will actually increase and Twitter will become less influential.
I disagree with the second.
Damn.
Sorry,
we both disagree.
I don't think, unless you're saying in our field.
Oh, okay. So in our field, absolutely.
Yes,
but I think
in our field, I agree 100%.
I think it's already happened in our field.
Yeah.
But I think it's eventually next year because Elon's going to continue to just, every day it's different, I realize. But I think that more and more organizations, I think when advertising dollars stop being sent to Twitter, that's when people are also going to start looking for options.
But you know what? I think what will happen is that Twitter is going to suffer an identity crisis. They're going to basically melt down and start over. And I think it'll end up reverting to a state that it was like before Elon came. Whether he's still there or not, I don't know. But I think it will
possibly.
Here's why I disagree. Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people that are outside of our field, a lot of people that are not technical, a lot of people, and the vast majority of them don't care. And the main reason they don't care is, and this is something we've talked about before and I've made fun of before, you watch the news and a good 10% of the news is them showing you tweets that people have done. And Twitter got as influential as it is, mainly because the media has used it as a reporting source.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have people like my father-in-law, right, until he died. He had no interest in Twitter. He had no information from Twitter. And then he started seeing it on the news. And so he started using Twitter. Until we see a replacement, and I don't believe Mastodon is it. I like Mastodon. I use it. I'm enjoying the community around it. But I do not believe it replaces what we get.
It's a different context, really.
Right. And until we have that replacement, don't, and that replacement starts to be used by people outside of our field for things like I said, you watch the news and the newscaster's up there and here are the 7 tweets about this thing that we saw. And until that changes, Twitter is going to have the power it has. And I don't see that happening in the next year, unless your other part of that is correct. And that is Elon Musk goes further batshit crazy.
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, agree.
What happens. The other things I wanted to mention real quick, I think ransomware is going to continue and possibly get worse because we haven't seen it really slow down.
No, not at all.
In any aspect. TikTok. So there's a possibility that it might be banned in the US. I don't know for sure. But I think the government will at least try to ban it. They're already talking about it in Congress. Whether or not that passes is one thing, but
it's already been pushed forward as was executive order that government phones and stuff can't have it. I think they're going to be hard pressed to ban it. I think the First Amendment, they're going to run right up against a First Amendment fight.
Probably.
But what I do think is probably going to happen if they go that route, and I really hope they don't. I don't like. We all know I'm a single button issue when it comes to the First Amendment, and I don't like the idea.
But China.
But China. Why don't we just say but porcelain? Because it's as effective. I think that the minute you start to get into banning, you have a problem. But what I do think might happen is that the government will continue to make noise about banning it, and Apple and Google will remove it from their respective stores proactively.
Yeah,
I could see that.
That could happen. Yeah,
right. That is more in my head. That is more likely than a successful governmental ban, like a law in the U.S. banning it.
Yeah.
Mainly because one, it's a violation of the First Amendment, and two, I can't imagine any of our politicians getting their head out of their ass far enough to actually do something they say they're going to do. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I predict government will be as incapable of passing laws as it has been previously.
Yeah. So I have a couple of stretch.
Yeah, what do you got?
It'll be fun to go back to next year and see if this happened. But I predict some more major security vendor platforms will be hacked, kind of in the vein of SolarWinds and Kaseya, but more in the mainstream enterprise. Big guys.
Yeah.
Another one I think is that, I don't know, randomly, I just think botnets will start taking over major financial systems like stock markets and stuff like that. And we'll see big outages in those things.
Interesting.
And crypto is going to remain volatile, and there will be more natural.
Specific though, you mean crypto coin, not cryptography.
No, that's right. Yes. Well,
please
especially
clarify.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, I think I distinguish between Bitcoin and all other crypto, right? I mean, Bitcoin is like the peer-to-peer type and nobody controls it. But I think it's going to be volatile, and a lot of national programs will see a value in it, and they're going to try to moderate, some linkages to it. But I don't think it's going to be useful, from a personal usage point of view, and certainly not from a personal investment point of view, other than day trading. I know day trading actually likes crypto or Bitcoin because of its volatility. And I think Chat GPT will probably spawn more copycats, and probably one of those AI chatbots will be hacked at some point in the next year.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I think along with that, I think there's going to be a lot of AI startups that are going to be happening, and we're going to start seeing that in the cybersecurity space too. I mean, we've already seen, AI and ML, in EDR solutions, right? But I think that's going to now, the marketing hype is going to just go crazy. Unfortunately. Yeah.
vCISO GPT.
There you go. Yep. Exactly.
Oh my God.
So Kevin, what do you have? Anything come to mind?
I got nothing. The world is going to keep going. Here's what I will. My easy prediction: cybersecurity will still continue to be the dumpster fire that it is, because we want to focus on the new things instead of actually paying attention to fundamental things. Patch your crap. Just saying, right? I think that what I'd like to see, and I will predict it because I want it to happen, but I don't actually believe it will happen. I would like to see the regulations and the guidelines. And when I'm talking about like PCI, I'm talking about OWASP, I'm talking about the FTC, I'm talking about, right? I would like to see the industry push harder on two things. One, actually paying attention to real risk, right? Like, let's stop having to tell people, oh, you're running SSL, and focus on things that actually impact them. And two, I'd like to see us focus more as an industry of moving toward standards. I've talked about OpenSPK before. I want to move that forward. We've talked about things like PTES and whatever. I'm tired of, as an industry, of being embarrassed by what we call some of the things we do. So I'd like to predict that gets fixed. My real predictions, I guess, is that I absolutely agree ransomware is going to continue to cycle through. We're not doing it. We're actually not doing anything to fix it.
Nope.
We've got startups that claim to, and every single one I've looked at is full of, let's just say their eyes are brown.
Marketing BS. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would predict that we're going to see fewer firms like Bishop Fox and Secure Ideas and Red Siege and what have you, because you're going to see more big players gobbling people up and combining them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think as a whole, that will actually harm our industry. But that's
interesting. Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, that'll be fun to revisit next year.
Yeah. Hopefully we all still have jobs next year.
Hey, I told you. Yeah. I plan on having a job. I just don't know if it's this one.
Yeah. One quick comment on what Kevin said I thought was really interesting, that, all the new startup stuff that is, for example, making progress on ransomware or claims to be. The ones that I see are actually very good at something, but it's so limited that it doesn't really fit into the whole ecosystem and do much for the
I think that's a much better way to describe it. Is when I say they're full of it, it's because they're trying to claim to solve something that they don't actually solve. They do this one thing, and maybe they do that one thing very, very well. But that one thing as a whole is not really helpful.
Or practical.
Absolutely. And that's why I think, oh man, Scott, you just set me right up to promote ClickArmor, and I wasn't trying to.
Oh, nice.
Yes, my evil plan worked.
Like, damn it. I was about to say, and that's why something like ClickArmor is so important. And I realized, oh shit, it was an ad. And it wasn't an ad. Okay, if you're listening to this is completely unplanned. But I think it's true. I think this is why, and you, Scott, you and I have talked about this many times, is that it's so important to have people understand what is real, what is not real, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. And that's, we're not going to solve the problem by buying a product that fixes the issue.
Right.
The only way we're going to solve the problem is to recognize that people are doing things because we set them up to fail.
Yeah.
Let's set them up to succeed.
It's one of the reasons last year I predicted more personal risk assessment. People got to get better at managing their own personal risks, but it's not happening yet.
Right.
I hope it does. But that's what my goal is, to help people, be able to manage, it's what I call the cyber Wild West, like there's nobody out there that's going to come and save you if you don't learn how to manage your own risks.
That's right. Well, gentlemen, I think this is a good place to end the last episode of 2022. So I know.
Been a good
Can't
year,
believe
folks.
we're here. It has been a great year. Yes. Cheers. I don't have bubbly.
What is that?
It's a sports drink. Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to pretend he's sportsy.
I am. Yes. But cheers to more drinks next year on the show. But of course, want to wish you both a happy holidays and happy New Year.
Yes.
And to all of our listeners, thank you very much for listening and supporting the podcast over this last year. Much appreciated. We got some more great stuff for you next year. So we'll keep growing and keep giving you all great content.
Let's get over 1,000 in the next. That should be a
over
prediction.
1,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yes.
So I think we'll achieve that and many more achievements for next year. So thank you all. And everyone, we will talk to everyone again next year. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, hit that like and subscribe button. To catch all the latest from the show, visit our website, sharedsecurity.net. Follow us on Twitter at sharedsec, and join our Reddit community on the Shared Security Show subreddit.